break it down, the last 5 years of my life in a nutshell. December 2019, I lost my Nana. That right there fucking made me detach myself from anything and everything. About a couple of days after that, I found out the love of my life was cheating on me. And the only excuse he could give me was that I worked too much and I didn't give him the time and attention that I needed to. So he seeked it from a girl at his job. And what hurt so much about that was I was working to provide for our home. I was taking care of my grandmother and trying to visit her and spend as much time as I could with her in between working 2 jobs, being this man's woman and a mother to my child. I balanced a lot, and it wasn't enough. So I tried to work on my relationship. COVID hit, and July 2020, I decided it was best to walk away from my relationship. It became way too violent. We separated. We attempted to make it work. In the process of the separation, his brother came and told me that he was still in contact with the girl that he had cheated on me with. And, she was giving him rides to his mother's house, home from work, and everything else. Like, his brother told me everything. And I tried to tell him that his brother told me everything. And I was crazy. It was all in my head. His brother never knocked at my back door in front of my friend and said everything that he said, because there was a witness, a very reliable witness, Sarah from Saratoga. Yeah. One of the most fucking honest people you ever meet. Yeah. She was there when he came to my house. So, this man acted like he never came to my house, and it was all in my fucking head. So we'll fast forward to September 2019. 2020, September 2020, September 2nd, 2020. I, woke up. This man had text messages from this girl. I started bugging out. I asked him to block her. No. We got into a whole fight about it. Anytime I ever brought up his phone, this girl's name, or girls at his job, or just asked him to block these females because you're leaving these females an open door to step in your relationship if you're speaking to them and allowing them to think that it's okay to be messaging you if you're with somebody. And this woman continued, and he continued to entertain it. So I spoke up about it again, told him that I wanted him out my house. I was no longer in love with him, and said a lot of hurtful shit to make him want to leave, and he still wouldn't leave, still didn't want to leave. And then we got into a fight over these text messages. The fight ended up in me reacting to him grabbing me by my hair, dragging me into my son's room, waking my son up, and telling my son to get up because he was going to watch his mother die, and he was going to slit my throat in front of my child. So I got out my house, got safe, waited for him to leave for work, and I went back. And I called his sister. God rest the dead. I called his little sister, and I told her what happened. And I told her that she needed to get him out of my house, or she was going to end up burying her brother. Because I was calling my son's father, and my son's father was going to come. That man never got involved in any of my relationships, never took a part. As far as the choices I made. However, you're now waking me up to slit my throat in front of my son. So I threatened him with my kid's father, 100% did. He was at work. Me and his sister and one of her friends moved everything out. They brought it to his mother's house. I allowed him to come back later on that night to get his cat, his car, and anything else that he had to retrieve off my property. I wanted nothing to do with this man whatsoever. He continued to talk to this girl. So I went back and forth with him, and we played the game for 2.5 years of the "there's nobody else, Sasha, you're crazy, it was all in your head, I never messed with her." In the process of the 2.5 years of our breakup, between September 2020, we'll say 2 years, September 2020, actually 3 years of our breakup, September 2020 all the way to September 2023, this man continued to tell me that I was crazy, it was all in my head. He never cheated on me. He had no feelings for that girl whatsoever. She was just a co-worker. He used to just ask her for advice. And I asked, like, what advice? Like, this girl's fucking 10 years younger than us. Like, what advice does this girl have for two 30-year-olds in a relationship raising a child, and she doesn't even have a child? And, he continued to go with that story. So, okay, cool. We went with that story. And for 3 years, that man told me I was crazy. For 3 years, I was out of my mind. For 3 years, my mental health was taking a toll on me. And I made this all up in my head. In the process of them 3 years, I had went to his mother's house, and there was a woman there 2 different times. Once was his birthday. Another time I was dropping my son off. I questioned about this woman because now you're having a woman around my child. I know nothing about it. They all lied to me. His mother and him swore on their dead sister and dead daughter that this was my niece's hairdresser. This was not a woman that he was messing with. This was his hairdresser. Now, first off, sis is about 250, white girl. Can't braid hair. You could look and tell she can't braid hair. If she could braid hair, her man's hair wouldn't look the way it did. Sis can't braid hair. I say that, and they swear on their dead family member that that is the hairdresser. I take their word for it, because who the fuck would swear on her? They know how much I loved her. I know how much they loved her. Why would you swear on her? So, with all that being said and done, they swear on her fucking dead body that this is not that person. Well, now we're gonna fast forward to September 2023 when this woman drops my son off to school, and my mother sees it because she's there dropping my daughter off. And my mother sees it, and my mother calls me, and I'm at work, and she's like, "Hey, who's this fat white girl dropping my grandson off? Never seen this woman a day in my life." So I panic. I called my son. I said, "Who dropped you off to school today?" He said, "My dad." I said, "You sure about that? I think you want to double back on that, because your dad ain't dropped you off. I'm calling for a reason. Somebody seen you." He said, "Oh, it was my Nana." I said, "It wasn't your Nana. Your Nana's light-skinned. A white woman dropped you off to school. Who dropped you off to school?" He said, "Oh, that's Mrs. Secord. She works at the school." I said, "Mrs. Secord?" I said, "Why the hell is somebody from the school dropping you off at school?" I called my baby father. He's like, "Oh, no, it's a woman that knows my mother that works at the school. It's nothing like that. Nothing you have to worry about. She literally just works for the school, and she's given us a hand. She's my niece's counselor since my sister passed away, and she does a lot to help our family." I said, "Okay, cool." I called my sister, because she worked at the school, to investigate further, and I can tell you that the investigation uncovered all of this.